Read all the stories about BYU sports no one else has heard. Go to KSLSports.com for exclusive columns by BYU insider Mitch Harper. That's KSLSports.com.
Welcome back into First and 12, getting you ready for BYU and Utah, the rivalry week. Mitch Harper, Alex Kirry with you. And these are always fun on these Sundays, talking Big 12 football, but it's even more fun to think when we launched this show and we created this, Alex, we thought, it's a shame we can't talk more Utah because it'll be the Pac-12 for the Utes, but then shortly after this show was created, they got on board with the Four Corners, and now that means we get BYU and Utah an annual matchup.
Man. Let's go revisionist history on this thing, man. Let's just say we knew that the Big 12 was on the way to announcing these teams in there.
Good
I think
point.
what was it, halfway through the season, or no, it was less than halfway through the season.
Camp. It was in fall camp.
It was in camp. We started doing the Four Corners roundup or whatever it was because we knew those teams were going to be
one.
Right, and so we were making sure they at least talk about those teams. But so I prefer to look at it like we were super ahead of our time with this show, Mitch. Come on.
It is true, and that's Brett Yormark would appreciate that visionist mindset that we have. We got to be additive. We got to be great. We're greater than 12.
You're Brett
Who's
Yormark,
next? We are.
You're Brett Yormark / Donald Trump. Voices meld together, and they're both about the same in terms of those guys are both heavy self-promoters. And you can say a lot about them, but you know what? You have to give it to the fact that they can find their way to get publicity. So I mean, my goodness.
Oh. Yeah, this week is going to be nerve-wracking for many in the state of Utah with election night, and then you got BYU Utah on top of it. What a week it's going to be up here in the Wasatch Front. And a guy that tries to bring everyone together is head coach Kalani Sitake. He doesn't hate the rivalry. He just loves it all. So here's Kalani getting ready for the Utes.
8 games down and looking forward to the 9th game. I thought after the game, after watching the film, saw some really good things that we did. Really proud of the guys. I said it every week that love the way the team is performing. I love the effort, the energy, the physical part of the game. I think we're embracing it. Obviously not error free, but man, there's some mistakes that we're making that just don't make sense. And so I talked to the coaches today about, and that's in all 3 phases. And so there's a lot of room for improvement. Still feel like we can play so much better, and really looking forward to getting that done this week and getting a lot of prep and work done this week, and just excited about the opportunity and excited about that. I mean, we don't play a game this week, but we're going to be focused early on our opponents, but more than anything, just before that even happens, we have to be ready for us to play much better as a team, and I think we can do that. What's nice is that I can count on the effort and the energy from our guys, the buy-in. Just need to keep focusing on the little things, the fundamentals of the game, just assignments, alignment, things like that, the technique. And so as we get that done and as we get towards, I mean, this is the 9th game coming up, so I'd like to see that a little bit better. And so that's on me and the coaching staff, and we'll get that working. But I do love the energy and the urgency from our players to want to make the plays. It just got to be little bit more in the responsibility of their areas, doing their 1/11th, not doing 2/11th. So you got to do 1. So that we can focus on that. I think will be much better. We got the rivalry game, tough game coming up, and looking forward to the matchup. Obviously, I said it after the game in Florida that there's a lot of connections. That's just from us and them. We have a lot of friends that play and coach there, and so there's a great connection between the 2 schools. I mean, I mentioned that we need each other. That's been always the case, and now that we're in the same conference, it's going to be fun that it's going to be a consistent thing that we get to count on this game being there every year. So I have a lot of appreciation and admiration for University of Utah, their athletic department, the students, the faculty, staff, obviously the coaches, the program, and their fans. So it's interesting, the connections. I mean, I have an older brother that played there, and so I have a sister that went to school there, and me and my other siblings came here to BYU, and I don't think I'm really that unique when it comes to family. I know there's a lot of families that are kind of split when it comes to this rivalry, which makes it even more fun. And just looking forward to it. If it weren't for Utah, I wouldn't be here. So and if it weren't for BYU, Coach Witt wouldn't be at Utah. So and we have Utah graduates that are on our staff, and with Jay Hill and Sinapoha and others that have worked there, myself and A-Rod and Justin, and Chad, and there's a lot and Gary. So there's a lot of connections there. Just really excited that we get to play this game and looking forward to it. But I have a lot of love for that program and a lot of love for people there.
When you guys had that win in the last meeting between you and BYU and Utah, what in 2021 after that victory, like what benefits did you see come from that breakthrough in that rivalry win, whether it off the field, on the field? Like what value did that provide to your program after that win?
Well, when I got the job, that's all the fans wanted to talk to me about is winning that game, So I felt a lot of relief for them, and but the benefits is I think there's we have some amazing football programs in our state, and there's some really cool things that are happening here. When you talk about the economy or people that are moving in here, the sports teams that are available. And we have two amazing ones that are not that far apart, and they're in the same conference, and it's a Power 4 conference. And so this is a really cool thing for all those that are here that are local. And then you're surrounded by amazing other pro football programs, whether it's the FCS level or Utah State up in Logan. And so there's some really cool things happening in the state. I don't know how we can just take it for granted sometimes, and rather than embracing the cool moments that we're in. I think about this when I was a kid, when I was just a little 8-9-year-old growing up, and just think that in the future there's going to be an opportunity where we're actually in one of these power conferences, the Big 12, and we're in it and in all sports, and that I got my Utah Jazz that are still here, and then you're going to add hockey and all these other things that are here, and that there's a lot of people living here in the state. That's a real cool thing. So now that we're here, it's I think we ought to take advantage of it, but let's do it different. Let's do it so it can be even more fun.
Mitch, at least I can believe him this week when he says that he's close with Kyle and he's good friends with him. I get it. And you got to just give them all credit. These guys are, this is a lot. You know what I mean? Like it's a ton to have to manage. And for Kyle Whittingham right now, he's trying to keep that locker room together. And in Kalani's sake, he's just trying to enjoy every second of this and pretend we knew this was happening. But there has to be something to be said about the preparation they do every week. It stays the same. It's worked every week for them. They're not going to deviate at all from it, and that's something that is pretty admirable. His guys every week have been consistently preparing the exact same way.
Kalani has always been viewed as the coach that has, kind of that a little bit of boom or bust, where it's, man, his ceiling is just endless at BYU, but his floor could be catastrophic at times, 2017, last year. But, man, when it gets clicking, and he's got so much ability, and to the point, Alex, this will probably be something more we talk down the road, but, I think he warrants a contract extension. And, honestly, this is going to be a guy that you wonder if long-term, maybe he's an NFL coach, where he's just so likable. Like, guys just want to play for him. And you're in a world right now with money being thrown around these players, and they still want to play for him. Like, that's kind of the attributes you'd think of maybe an NFL coach, kind of like Andy Reid, where he's so likable, and just everyone wants to be part of that. And Kalani's culture has been impressive, and it'll be interesting to see if, what he's doing this year creates maybe a little bit of a market where schools want to, get in on that, because now we're learning that just getting guys is not enough. You got to have a culture in this era where money is involved. Kalani is thriving in that, and that's why I think BYU is thriving as well. We got to take a timeout, though. On the other side, we'll get a check-in with BYU player Connor Pay. And First and 12 is always brought to you by Macy's Grocery Store's proud sponsor of First and 12. Happy shopping. Get the freshest fruits and vegetables from your local farms and your favorite local brands. Macy's. Happy shopping. We'll hear from Connor Pay next here on First and 12.